everybody, it's Becky. Welcome back to my channel. I have a homeschooling video for you guys today. It's a little unconventional just because of what's going on in the world right now. I can't say what it is, but you know what I mean. The unspoken word that I'm not allowed to say on YouTube, because if I do, they will either demonetize my video or take it down. But you know what I'm talking about, what's going on in the world pretty much everywhere right now and how it's affecting our homeschool life. I'm going to be doing a separate video today of how it's affecting our normal everyday life. But I wanted to do two separate videos because everybody has different lives, and this situation in the world right now is affecting everybody differently. In some ways, it's affecting me a lot more on a personal level than it is on a homeschooling level, but it is still affecting our homeschool. So today I thought it'd be kind of interesting to sit down and give you my perspective of 6 ways that this thing that's going on right now is affecting our homeschool. So if you want to see that, then stay tuned. So the first way that this has affected our homeschool is our homeschool co-op has been canceled until further notice. If you guys follow me on Instagram, and if you don't, you should. It's a place to nest Becky on Instagram. A couple weeks ago, I talked about being concerned about the co-op staying open when there were people at the co-op who had been in compromised positions with this illness, if you can understand what I'm saying. I can't say it. And I was basically given a brush off, I feel, by leadership, and then they were handling it, and if I didn't like their decisions about how they were handling it, then we didn't have to come back to co-op, is almost verbatim what I was told. I was really ticked off about that. I went on a big rant about it on Instagram. But I think since then, a lot has changed in the world, and co-op has recognized the fact that this is a lot bigger of a threat than they were giving weight to at the time, I think. So for now, all of March has been canceled. I have a feeling all of April will be canceled because I think we only had maybe 4 or 5 more times we were planning to meet in April anyway. So that still hasn't been announced, but for sure March is canceled. So that means my oldest daughter's drama class is not going to be doing their little production they were working on. And that also means that I don't have 3 hours a week where I would take them to co-op and wait with them and I would get work done for YouTube. So it's been a little bit of a juggling act trying to replace that 3 hours of dedicated work time and fill it in through time here at home. But I think that's the main way that our homeschool has been affected, is the co-op has been canceled, and any activities that the girls had related to the homeschool co-op, like field trips and parties, and my oldest daughter had a dance that she was supposed to go to, and we already bought the dress and everything, that has been postponed indefinitely. So that's been a pretty disappointing change to our homeschool life. The second thing that has been affected is actually probably a good thing. Typically I clean, like deep clean, reorganize and declutter the homeschool room / my office in the summertime after the school year is over. But I talked about this in a recent day in the life video. I'll link it for you guys. I'm already here. I'm here anyway, so why wait till summer? So I am actually starting the deep cleaning, decluttering process of our homeschool room now, so that whenever this is all over and things open back up and we have summer break, you know, I won't have to spend summer working in the homeschool room. I mean, I'll have other stuff to do around the house, but at least that will be off my plate. So that's actually been kind of a positive. It's forcing me to stay home, and I'm getting a lot more home projects done because I am here. Another benefit, positive, is that we have now even more flexible hours than we ever have before. And with homeschooling, you already have a pretty decent amount of flexibility with your schedule. That's one of the benefits of homeschooling. Now, since we literally have nowhere to go, we really are making the most of it. I mean, we're starting later in the morning, we're doing more in the afternoon, you know, kind of just a more loose schedule of getting our schoolwork done. So while we can't do this long term, I mean, I wouldn't do this indefinitely, but for now and for finishing up the last month or so of school, I'm fine with it. This is not something that's going to happen hopefully ever again. So I'm okay with the fact that we get a later start in the morning. As long as they get their schoolwork done, I'm not really that worried about it. Another way that this has impacted our homeschool is my kids are living through their first major historical event. You know, if you're older, then you probably have moments in your life, major historical events that have happened that you say, I remember when that happened. I remember where I was when that happened. And for me, that was 9/11. And well, Columbine, I think, was the first big thing, the shooting in Columbine when I was in high school. But as an adult, I think 9/11 was the most significant historical event that happened in my lifetime. And then now this. So I feel like my kids being so young to have such a major historical event, although it's terrible and tragic and I hope that it doesn't happen again, I hope we learn from it. and all that stuff, it's still an interesting part of life. It's still an interesting period of time to see what happened, what caused it, how the world responded, and hopefully what we learned from it. And there are educational opportunities to take from everything. And so I think when they grow up, they're going to remember when this happened and the time that we had to stay home for weeks and weeks on end. Even though we weren't happy about it, it was a very memorable experience. And so that leads me into my next thing. And that really gives us a real world way to look and talk about germs and bacteria and how they're spread. I actually mentioned this in a vlog. I don't know if it's gone up or not yet. But I found an old science kit that my youngest daughter had that we'd never used, and it was growing your own bacteria at home and really kind of seeing like what bacteria is on your skin, what bacteria is on your tongue. And so it was a really interesting experience. All these science-based lessons that can come from talking about germs and how they're spread and bacteria. So even though the situation is not a good one, there are definitely learning experiences that you can take from it. And the last way that all of this has really affected our homeschool, and this is still up in the air, but I talked about this in a recent video as well, about we are probably going to be homeschooling longer this year than we planned. I always plan our school year out so that we are done by the end of April, and so then in May we go on our trip to Disney World. So the whole year, every year is planned that way. We take shorter breaks throughout the year. We take a very short break for Christmas. Hardly any other breaks throughout the year, because I want to get done early and be done by the end of April so that we can go on our trip to Disney in May, and then when we come back, we have the entire summer with no school. Well, this is kind of up in the air because obviously none of us knows what's going to happen, how long we're going to be stuck here at home, how long it's going to be until it's safe to go out. So my plan right now, this is tentatively, is as I'm filming this, it is the end of March, and then we were supposed to only school till the end of April. If things are at the end of April the way they are now, and we are still stuck at home or really limited into where places we can go, I do plan on homeschooling into May. There's no reason to not continue on with school a little bit into May or all of May, and then take a little bit longer of a summer break. So maybe start school a little bit later in the fall. That's kind of my thoughts right now. And I'm actually not excited about it because I am getting a little bit burned out. But I think what I'm going to do, if that is what we end up having to do, is the girls will be finished with their curriculum. Like they're assigned, like this is what you need to do for 4th grade and sophomore year. I think we're going to have a lot more time to do a lot more interest-based studies. So maybe some unit studies. I know both girls could really use a brush up on US geography. Even though that was supposed to be part of my soon-to-be 5th graders curriculum next school year, it wouldn't hurt to start it early and do it as a group subject for both girls. I really could brush up on some US geography too. I'm really bad about the Western states. So it wouldn't hurt any of us to do that together as a group subject. Just maybe some independent work, keeping up with math and keeping up with reading. Because our math program teaching textbooks is all online and they can just go along however they want at their own pace. So that is kind of my tentative plan right now. So those are the 6 ways, positives and negatives, that all of what's going on in the world right now is affecting our homeschool. As I've said before, there are positives in every situation. You just have to be willing to look for them and appreciate them. Let me know if you homeschool, if this has affected you guys at all, negatively or positively or both. And then just in general, how have you been affected? It's like, what do you find the hardest in all of this? What has been the most disappointing thing that has come from this? Maybe a trip you had planned or a concert you were gonna go to that got canceled. I know we had tickets for Disney on Ice, and of course it's gotten canceled, which obviously it should be, but I'm just saying, you know, there's lots of disappointments. And even though there are things way worse going on and people that have it way worse, doesn't mean that we're not still disappointed about things that may be trivial. You can still be disappointed, and that's okay. I will link my homeschooling playlist for you guys. Every homeschooling video I've ever made is in that playlist, and there are so many of them that I think will be helpful to you guys, whether you're new homeschoolers or temporary homeschoolers. I think you'll find them helpful, and I really appreciate you guys watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.